Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news tonight on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are this evening's headlines. Polling ends for the sixth phase of elections in Uttar Pradesh. 57.03% voter turnout was recorded for the 49 seats spread across 7 districts in the state. Manipur concludes voting for the first of the two-phase assembly elections in the state. 84% voter turnout reported in the state till 4 p.m. Mega road shows and political rallies bring Varanasi to a halt. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi and BSP Chief Mayawati address voters. And in the United States, 43-year-old Indian origin store owner Harnish Patel is shot dead in South Carolina. Incident comes just days after an Indian engineer was killed in a hate crime shooting. Well, let's now get you the latest from the ongoing assembly elections in Verdict 2017. .57% voting was recorded in the sixth phase of elections in the Purvanchal region of Uttar Pradesh. No untoward incident was reported in the 49 assembly seats in 7 districts where polling ended an hour ago. Here are the details.
Polling went off peacefully in the sixth and penultimate phase in Uttar Pradesh on Saturday, with 49 assembly seats in 7 districts going to vote. Over 1.72 crore voters exercised their franchise to decide the fate of 635 candidates amid heavy security. While Samajwadi Party patron Mulayam Singh Yadav's Azamgarh Lok Sabha constituency is one of the most prominent in this phase, the districts which voted on Saturday include Mau, Gorakhpur, Maharajganj, Kushinagar, Devariya and Balia.
Good voter turnout in the morning in all the constituencies of Purvanchal, but towards afternoon, voting slightly slowed down. As far as issues are concerned, people are talking about development. Overall, it looks like a triangular fight in Purvanchal region.
वोट डाल रहे थे, मेन विकास का मुद्दा सबसे पहले है और पढ़ाई एजुकेशन क्या है वो सब सारी चीजें दिमाग में है. इस वजह से हम लोगों ने सुबह सुबह आके वोट दिया.
हमारे यहाँ का विकास तो हुआ है, इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है, लेकिन जो विकास हुआ है वो सिर्फ जो है वो कागजों पे हुआ है और वो जो है वो बड़ी-बड़ी बिल्डिंगों पे हुआ है.
Prominent candidates in this phase are former Union Minister Kalraj Mishra, BSP turncoat Swami Prasad Maurya and SP turncoats Ambika Chaudhary and Narad Rai. 5 assembly seats of Gorakhpur Lok Sabha constituency of BJP leader Yogi Adityanath and Mau, where jailed a gangster turned MLA Mukhtar Ansari is in the fray, also figure in this phase. While BSP has fielded candidates on all 49 seats, SP and Congress are contesting on 40 and 9 seats respectively under an alliance. BJP has its candidates on 45 seats and its allies are contesting 4.
कोई कैंपेन कॉमनर नहीं था. हमने विकास और राष्ट्रवाद को मुद्दा बनाया और जनता ने केंद्र में मोदी सरकार की कार्य पद्धति को देख करके हमारे इश्यू को हाथों हाथ लिया. भारतीय जनता पार्टी पूर्ण बहुमत की सरकार बना रही है.
In 2012, the ruling SP won 27 of the 49 seats and its present ally, the Congress, won 4. The BJP won 7, while the BSP also bagged 7. Such was the Samajwadi Party's sweep that in 2012, it took 9 of the 10 seats in Azamgarh. With inputs from Shyam Sundar and Kriti Mishra, Bureau Report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Impressive polling took place in Manipur in the first phase of elections in the state. A record 84% polling was recorded in 3/4 of the polling stations. Congress and the BJP are in a tough fight in all the 38 seats of the 5 districts that have gone to polls on Saturday. Barring a few incidents, by and large the election remained peaceful. The next phase of election is on the 8th of March.
People started queuing up since the early hours of the morning to cast their vote. Women turned out in large numbers in the first phase of polling in Manipur. Most of them are just hoping for one thing from the new government: peace and development.
I guess development of our constituency and also territorial integrity of Manipur.
We are trying to eliminate all these burns, blockades. We have suffered enough. Then about the corruption and all this, we want to eliminate it.
The youth also voted in large numbers. They are seeking employment, education and an end to the economic blockade.
I voted for someone who would take up developmental works here, who would take into account the development and issues that people are facing, unemployment, and the roads etc. are also very bad here. So I voted keeping that in mind.
देश के भला ये हो ताकि करप्शन कमती हो, करप्शन से आगे बचे सब लोग, जो अनएम्प्लॉयड लोग हैं उसको कुछ नौकरी मिले.
There are almost 11 lakh eligible voters in Manipur in this phase, and most of them exercise their franchise in both rural and urban areas of the hill state. Fate of 168 candidates in 38 assembly constituencies was sealed on Saturday.
मैं रास्ता भी चाहिए, वो भालू निकल गया है ना रास्ता में, वो ब्लैक टॉप चाहिए, और स्कूल भी पूरा बूढ़ा हो गए.
ये क्या है?
ये भी स्कूल है, ये भी, और ये ऐसे का है, और देखो ये भी वैसा
अच्छा
कच्चा से रहती है.
The first phase mostly covers the regions dominated by the Meitei community, along with a few Naga and Kuki hamlets. This is also the area most affected by economic blockade imposed by the United Naga Council. Observers sense a strong polarization on the issue of blockade and development between the Congress and the BJP.
The first phase of election is not just important for Congress and Chief Minister Bobby Singh. This is also very important for BJP and Irom Sarmila's Praja Party. Why? Because this is the region which is most affected by United Naga Council's economic blockade, and this is the area where most of debates are going on about the future of Manipur. It will be interesting to see that how results come out on March 11. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Prasanto in Imphal.
Well, with the focus shifting to the last leg of assembly polls now in Uttar Pradesh, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday hit the campaign trail in Varanasi, his Lok Sabha constituency. Top BJP leaders have been camping in the city to get public support in favour of their party. The Prime Minister is also expected to hold 2 more election meetings in the district, one each on Sunday and Monday.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday started his election campaign in his parliamentary constituency, Varanasi, with the massive roadshow from the Banaras Hindu University. Thousands of people were on the streets when the rally passed through Muslim-dominated areas of Sonarpur and Madanputa. As Modi's car continued to ride through the streets of Varanasi, his supporters raised slogans like Har Har Modi, Ghar Ghar Modi. After the rally, the Prime Minister offered prayers at Kashi Vishwanath Temple and Kal Bhairav Temple.
300 सीट जीत रहे हैं, इस पर मतलब पूर्ण बहुमत की सरकार बनाएंगे ये, और ये जो रोड शो का जो आप आकलन कर सकते हैं, इसमें विरोधियों का एकदम सफाया हो गया. आज से काशी का वातावरण एकदम चेंज और काशी भगवामय हो चुका है.
नारा दिया हुआ है एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत. पूरे देश को एक सूत्र में पिरोएंगे, एक ही माला में पिरो करके पूरे देश को एक बना करके अपने राष्ट्र का गौरव ऊंचा करेंगे.
जो हमारा भला करेगा वो केवल मोदी करेगा. गरीबों का मसीहा मोदी है, भारत की शान मोदी है. हम मोदी को ही सपोर्ट करते हैं.
Shortly after the roadshow, Modi addressed rallies at Jaunpur and Mahatma Gandhi Kashi Vidyapeeth. In Jaunpur, Modi said the BJP will celebrate Holi with the party's victory in the state. He also targeted the ruling Akhilesh government over the alleged deteriorating law and order situation in the state.
काम बोलता है कि कारनामा बोलता है, तो उनको बुरा लग गया कि मोदी जी ऐसा क्यों बोल रहे हैं. तो मैंने सोचा चलो भाई उन्हीं की सरकार की वेबसाइट देख लें. तो मैंने सपा सरकार की अधिकृत जो वेबसाइट थी वो जरा निकाल के देखा, और वेबसाइट में सपा सरकार ने उत्तर प्रदेश का क्या बुरा हाल किया है वो इसमें लिखा हुआ है.
BJP is contesting on 4 seats, while its ally Apna Dal is fighting on 1 seat out of the 5 assembly constituencies that fall under Varanasi parliamentary seat. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi and Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav held a roadshow in Varanasi on Saturday. The show of strength, which was meant to rival the Prime Minister's show, was attended by senior Congress leaders and Akhilesh's wife Dimple Yadav along with hundreds of party workers. BSP Chief Mayawati also held a rally at Jaunpur where the Prime Minister addressed a rally. Here's more.
A day of road shows and rallies in Varanasi, the Samajwadi Party and the Congress held a 10-kilometer long road show on Saturday. Lending weight to the show of strength was Dimple Yadav, the wife of Samajwadi Party Chief Akhilesh Yadav. Senior Congress leaders like Ghulam Nabi Azad, Raj Babbar, Deependra Hooda, Jitin Prasada and Dharmendra Yadav also took part in the roadshow. The Rahul Gandhi Akhilesh Yadav roadshow started from Ambedkar Chauraha before winding its way through major parts of the city. Apart from the roadshow in Varanasi, the SP Congress Alliance also launched a social media campaign, Chalo Kashi. The aim was to reach out to students in universities and colleges across the country. BSP Chief Mayawati also addressed a huge gathering on the day, claiming that most of the people who turned up in the roadshows of the BJP and the SP Congress are onlookers. Mayawati claimed that her party had got a huge flow of votes in the 6th phase.
अपने जिले के अधिकांश विधानसभा की सीटों पर और आपकी भीड़ को देखकर तो ऐसा लग रहा है कि आप अपने बनारस की सभी विधानसभा की सीटों को जीतने का पूरा पक्का मन बना चुके हैं।
Mayawati also targeted the BJP, stating that the party did not even have a chief ministerial candidate.
बीजेपी के का जो रोड शो था उसके बारे में तो मुझे ये भी मालूम हुआ है कि बीजेपी की हालत इतनी ज्यादा खराब है कि उनको अपनी चुनावी जनसभाओं में तो कई मंडल के लोगों को बुलाना पड़ता है भीड़ इकट्ठा करने के लिए और बाहर के राज्यों से भी बुलाना पड़ता है, बिहार और मध्य प्रदेश से।
Varanasi is going to polls on March 8th in the 7th and last phase of the assembly elections. The region has 40 seats spread across 7 districts. Results will be announced on March 11th. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, it's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I'm Amritan Shara and you're watching Law of the Land. Port Trust is a fully held government organization.
Decentralization of decision making, this is going to give a totally different outlook.
3 members will be the functional heads of the port. This is very important.
Watch Law of the Land on Rajya Sabha television.
Currency Building, Kolkata. A 178-year-old structure, built in 1833 in the Italianate style with Venetian windows, ornate cast iron gates and railings. The central hall of this building gets light through the sunlight overtoppings in the large domes. This beautiful building was originally the Agra Bank, and then it became the Office of Issue and Exchange of Government Paper Currency. It later housed the Reserve Bank of India until 1937. Today, the building is protected by the Archaeological Survey of India.
It's election time again. Voters in 5 states gear up to cast their votes. Catch all the action in Verdict 2017, Monday to Friday on Rajya Sabha television.
the splendid, grand and massive neo-Buddhist copper dome of the Rashtrapati Bhavan. It gets its influence from stupa at Sanchi. The dome is more than twice the height of the rest of the building. The reinforced concrete shell of the outer dome began to be formed during the beginning of 1929. The last stone of the dome was laid on April 6, 1929.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, the GST Council has approved the final draft of Central GST and Integrated GST laws. The next meeting of the Council will take place on the 16th of March. Here's a report.
The draft of the CGST and IGST bills have been cleared by the GST Council. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley expressed the confidence that the rollout of the crucial goods and services tax looked possible by 1st July.
आज काउंसिल की चर्चा के लिए ये दोनों कानून रखे गए थे। इन दोनों कानूनों पर लंबी चर्चा हुई आज और जीएसटी काउंसिल ने ये दोनों कानून अप्रूव कर दिए हैं। कॉम्पेंसेशन लॉ, सीजीएसटी लॉ और आईजीएसटी लॉ को जीएसटी काउंसिल का फॉर्मल अप्रूवल मिल गया है।
State GST and Union Territory GST will be taken up in the GST Council's next meeting on 16th of March.
SGST लॉ जो है वो एक प्रकार से CGST लॉ का रेप्लिका है, तो एक प्रकार से उसका ड्राफ्ट सेटल होना और काउंसिल से अप्रूव होना एक औपचारिकता है, लेकिन जो भी उसमें सुझाव आएंगे अगले 3 दिन में लीगल कमेटी उसको फाइनलाइज कर लेगी और फिर राज्यों को सर्कुलेट कर दिया जाएगा।
The NDA government plans to take these bills to the parliament in the second half of the budget session, which begins on March 9. Vishal Dhaiya for Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, here's a roundup of the other national news and nationwide. Work on the stalled Shahpur Kandi Dam project will resume as Punjab and Jammu and Kashmir governments have reached an agreement. Now, the work on the hydroelectricity project, which began in 1999, was stalled 3 years ago due to a dispute between the two states over its design. The 55.5 meter high dam located in Gurdaspur will help in providing irrigation facility to 5,000 hectares of land in Punjab and 32,000 hectares in Jammu and Kashmir, besides generation of 206 megawatt power. The Election Commission has refused to accept the reply filed by AIADMK on behalf of Party General Secretary Shashikala to a plea challenging her appointment as Party General Secretary. Rejecting the response, EC said that the signatory Dinakaran, who is Shashikala's nephew, was not in its list of party office bearers. Shashikala is presently lodged in a Bengaluru jail in corruption case. The overnight anti-militancy operation in Shopian district was called off today after militants managed to escape from the security forces' cordon. The encounter had begun on late Friday night as security forces launched a search operation in Chilipora village of the district following a tip-off about militants hiding there. No casualties were reported in the encounter. Moving on to some international news now. Days after the Kansas shooting, another Indian has been killed in the United States of America. A 43-year-old Indian origin store owner has been shot dead outside his home in South Carolina. Harnish Patel, the owner of a convenience store in Lancaster County in South Carolina, was found dead of gunshot wounds in front of a yard of his home on Thursday night. Patel closed his store and drove in his silver minivan to his nearby home, where authorities believe he was confronted by his killer. Patel was found in the yard a few minutes before midnight. Patel's death comes close on the heels of the shooting in Kansas of a 32-year-old Indian engineer Srinivas Kuchibotla by an American Navy veteran. Indian communities living in the area are in a state of shock and fear more such attacks in the near future. Well, Foreign Secretary Subramaniam Jaishankar has said that the current US government has a very positive view of India. Jaishankar, who is on a 4-day visit to the US, met US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. The meeting comes amid concerns over possible changes to visa regulations that could hurt India's software service industry. On the issue of Trump administration rethinking the H-1B visas, Jaishankar said, and I quote, "If the Trump administration wants to bring more companies and investments to the country and America grows, that growing America needs this partnership, and I think that was a point that was registered. It is an economic issue, a trade business issue," unquote. The US is believed to have assured India that H-1B visas will be part of the larger immigration reforms package that the new Trump administration is working on. Although starting April 3rd, it will temporarily suspend the premium processing of H-1B visas that allowed some companies to jump the queue. Meanwhile, after his meetings with US officials, Jaishankar said India does not expect any conflict between its Make in India program and US President Donald Trump's push for expanding manufacturing in America. Well, the Foreign Secretary also reacted to the murder of Indian engineer Srinivas Kuchibhotla, saying that the US has assured India that it would be prosecuted as a hate crime. Well, here's a roundup of the other international news and global buzz. Over 1,000 civilians, some barefoot, braved cold and rain as they fled fierce fighting between the Islamic State and the Iraqi forces in western Mosul. Walking in the rain, cold and mud, the civilians arrived at a sector held by the Iraq's counter-terrorism service, from where they will be moved in buses to a shelter camp. Meanwhile, 12 people, including women and children, are being treated for possible exposure to chemical weapons agents in Mosul. A family of a mother and 4 children is experiencing skin and respiratory problems after a rocket exploding at their house emitted toxic chemicals. A North Korean suspect in the murder of Kim Jong-nam, the half-brother of Kim Jong-un, said that Malaysia's probe into the assassination is a conspiracy to impair the dignity of North Korea. Ri Jong-chol, who is among 8 North Koreans suspected of involvement in the killing of Kim Jong-nam, was released on Friday due to lack of evidence. He also denied any involvement in the murder, saying police had presented him with fabricated evidence and tried to bribe him into making a confession. Families of passengers aboard missing Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 attended an event to mark the anniversary of the plane's disappearance. The families are seeking to launch a privately funded search after the official one was called off. Flight MH370, carrying 239 people, went missing on its way from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing on March 8, 2014. Australia, Malaysia and China jointly called off a 2-year underwater search for the aircraft in January. Malaysia's Transport Minister Leow Tiong Yai promised to keep up efforts to find the plane. China's defense budget will rise about 7% this year, the spokeswoman for China's parliament said on Saturday. This is its slowest pace since 2010 and it will not log a double-digit percentage increase for the 2nd year in a row. Last year, with China's economy slowing, the defense budget recorded its lowest increase in 6 years at 7.6%, following a nearly unbroken 2-decade run of double-digit budget increases. However, a 7% rise, which is almost 1.02 trillion yuan, is still only a quarter of the US defense budget. And finally, some sports news now, where off-spinner Nathan Lyon walked into the record books at the expense of the Indian cricket team with a career best figure of 8 for 50 against India in Bengaluru. The Indian batting order collapsed and was bundled out for a paltry 189 on the first day of the 2nd test. India's last 5 wickets fell for just 15 runs in 9.3 overs after they were 174 for 5 at one stage. A gritty 90 from opener Lokesh Rahul was the lone bright spot in the embarrassing collapse. Lyon tormented the Indian batsman as he recorded the best bowling figures in an innings by an overseas bowler. In the process, he also surpassed Brett Lee to become Australia's highest wicket taker against India in test matches. At stumps, Australia were comfortably placed at 40 for no loss. David Warner and Matt Renshaw were batting on 23 and 15 respectively.
It's pretty easy to get yourself up against playing against the best players of spin. I love challenging myself against the best players. I want to do well against the best players and prove to myself. I don't need to prove to anyone else in the world. I just need to prove to myself that I'm good enough and I want to compete hard against them. So I was very lucky today, but I'm very fortunate enough to bowl in great partnerships with other bowlers at the other end, and I was the lucky one today, I guess.
Well, that's it on this newscast. Good night.